And so this last week, when you're talking about the Reza Pahlavi asking the Iranians to go on the streets, this is an interview that he got criticized for heavily. Because in this interview, Nora, I don't know what her last name is. It Nora O'Donnell?
Nora O'Donnell?
Nora O'Donnell from
is
this
CBS?
CBS?
CBS.
Yeah.
She's an incredible
journalist.
journalist.
Good pointed question, Rob. If you want to play this clip, go for it.
And as you are urging people to protest and go to the streets, the death toll is rising in Iran. This violent crackdown continues just as it has in past attempted revolutions. I mean, is it responsible to be sending citizens in Iran to their deaths? Do you bear some responsibility?
As I said, this is a war, and war has casualties. In fact, in order to preserve and protect and minimize the death toll, minimize innocent victims yet again be killed by this regime, action is needed. The regime is going to try and brutalize its citizenry as it has always done. But we are in a fight for liberation. I didn't ask the people to come to the streets to fight against the regime because I wanted so. They asked me to step in to help them and to be their voice on the outside world, to do everything that we can so we make this uprising successful this time. And I think we have some serious leaders that understand what is necessary, that understand the ask of the Iranian people, and are responding to that. I think President Trump is responding to the call that the Iranian people have. The Iranian people have heard his words. They are naming streets after him in Iran.
You can pause it right
There's
there.
a difference.
So when President Trump and his team watches this, what do you think they say? Do they say, this is the guy we can get behind and help Iran be free again? Or do you think they say, I don't know if he has it or not? I don't know. Do they look at this and say this shows strong leadership? Do they look at this and say this guy's going to be able to go and win the people over and do that? I don't know. Here's what Trump did say. The president said Trump praises Iran exiled royal as very nice, but doesn't go as far as fully supporting regime change bid. Okay, Rob, is this the Hugh Hewitt clip? We've seen this one already. So I know this one here on him saying this. If you want to play this one more time, you can go ahead and play the clip. It's only 30 seconds.
Would you meet with Crown Prince Pahlavi, who is the heir to the constitutional monarchy? He doesn't want to rule. He would be a symbolic ruler like King Charles.
Well, I've watched him, and he seems like a nice person, but I'm not sure that it would be appropriate at this point to do that as president. I think that we should let everybody go out there and we see who emerges. I'm not sure necessarily that it would be
so that's Hugh Hewitt. Now, this
do.
is an interview with Reuters on Wednesday, that this is a different interview. In an Oval Office interview with Reuters, he said that while Reza Pahlavi seems like a nice guy, Trump wasn't sure the Iranian population would accept the crown prince as the country's leader. The conversation happened moments after Trump appeared to pump the brakes on an American military intervention, something the president has been threatening for weeks, as the Islamic regime has brutally cracked down on widespread protests. He seems very nice, but I don't know how he'd play within his own country, the president said of Pahlavi, and we really aren't up to that point yet. I don't know whether or not his country would accept his leadership, and certainly if they would, that would be fine with me. Trump said it was possible that the government of Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei could fall amid the demonstrations, though added, in truth, anti-regime can fall. Whether or not it falls or not, it's going to be an interesting period of time. Trump added, Pahlavi was born in Tehran, the son of the U.S.-backed Shah Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, who Iranians overthrew. The 65-year-old Pahlavi, who lives in D.C. suburbs, has played a very vocal role in the protests from abroad, but on the ground, there appears to be a little organized support for the country to again be ruled by the monarchy. So, I mean, that's what
he just from me watching him speak, and with all due respect, and again, he's not the guy. These people, where my mom and dad and my grandparents are from, where your whole family's from, they don't need a Zoom call leader. Okay, they need somebody that's going to be there with them on the ground. Okay, Reza Pahlavi lives in Washington, D.C. He's been there for 47 years, and this isn't a knock on him. He has a life. He has kids. They're in school. They have jobs. Whatever they're doing, This is a whole different situation. And by the way, just really fast on the Israel thing, we all know the arguments, the debates we've gotten into about me and Israel and criticizing all this stuff. Put that to the side. This is an organic revolution. Enough of the Israel put people in the, just shut up with that noise, okay? Their leader is tweeting stuff that's saying that we will kill the president, him getting shot in the head, we won't miss, okay? They're murdering protesters. And you know what I saw, Pat? I'm not going to show it. I didn't want to send it to Rob. The IRGC are going into hospitals looking for people that were protesting that are injured, and they're shooting them in the head. I saw that. And I saw the bodies in the body bags with the catheters because they were in that room, okay? And I'm tired, and Ann makes a very, very fair point. Why do we care? We have enough problems going on. We have enough stuff over there. The only reason I say we have to care, Ann, is because if we let them put somebody else in that's worse than this guy or another guy that's Islamist or whatever, it's a problem that's going to get worse and get worse and get worse. And I'm not trying to say we have to be the police of the world, but these people are begging for help. And if you don't mind, Pat, this got me emotional. I'll probably not even be able to go through it. I want to play a phone call that was recorded of, I think, an American Iranian girl from here. Her mother finally calls her and gets a hold of her. She can't even speak freely because of the regime is surveilling them. This is just tell me this doesn't hurt you. Go ahead, Rob.
Mama.
Watch this.
Mama.
They're shooting people with machine guns. Don't cry. We're okay. I called you 15 times. We're okay. Can you hear me? Don't cry. They've killed 12,000 people. They massacred all of... Yeah. We ran away. Can't talk on the phone. The phones are controlled. Mom, say something. Tell me something. It's a very bad situation. And she's crying. Stop. She's bawling. This goes on. They've killed so many. She's in her 70s. She goes, she's weak. She can't do anything. So for people to sit there and try to blame everybody else, the people have done it organically. God bless them. I hope for them. This is where we have to help. We have to help. And with all due respect, Reza, nice guy. You were the first one that called him a nice, sweet guy. Trump always talks off he doesn't BS. He doesn't sugarcoat. The moment he was asked, he goes, yeah, no, he's not the guy. He knows he's not the guy, Pat. He knows.
You know, your discussion of Mossadegh and the Shah remind me of why I think we should not be getting involved. And yes, it would be great if the people overthrew and, fixed it themselves. I don't think they will. I think most of the world is not fit for democracy. Mossadegh was a ridiculous clown. He had to be taken out. He was taken out by the CIA and the United States supported the Shah. Everything was great then. As long as we're installing puppets around the world, things are going to go great. You don't want to let them vote. And especially you don't want to let them vote now. I mean, I don't think I really want to lose the Iranians or Persians, as we call them, in Beverly Hills. They're great. They're totally right-wing. The most civilized, educated Iranians have left. And it's the same thing with Venezuela. It's the same thing with Cuba. If we're going to be installing puppet governments and holding them up, and we have to protect them, let's start with our hemisphere and see how it goes. And then maybe we can get back. And also... let's also remember that this is all Jimmy Carter's fault.
Well, are you joking or are you being serious?
It is all Jimmy Carter's fault.
I agree. I fully agree with you there.
Totally. And what was his name? Richard Falk at Princeton, who promised to everyone, don't worry, the people will vote for Khomeini. It will be wonderful. The people's revolution. Yeah, there's your Princeton professor for you.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Look, we've seen it in our government. When a nice guy that should be an ambassador or should be in a think tank becomes president, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, you have problems because you need leaders in times of crisis. And this guy happens to be the son of the prior leader. That doesn't make him, that gives him proximity. That doesn't give him the presence, the power, the personality, and everything he needs to lead. And I think he appears to be a very nice man. He appears to be, ambassadorial. He's got certain presence, but is he ready to go into this beehive and to do what's necessary to lead it through it? I don't think so. And we can make assessments like that because we saw it happen in our government. I was of age when Jimmy Carter, basically on these human rights campaigns in the name of human rights, ignored warning signs of destability in governments in the name of human rights. And this mess started. We've seen it. And this is not what the world needs. The world needs strength and clarity and leadership that probably needs to be protected by the U.S. government to get the job done and what they need to do.
Adam.
Sir, I don't care one way or another about Reza Pahlavi. I'm not on his team or not on his team. But I am on the side of the Iranian people, no doubt. So when he says, this is a war, we have to do... This is not a war, homeboy. This is one side with guns and the other side with cell phones at best.
Massacre, it's called.
So that's not a war. That's number one. Number two, as much as I love our friend Ann Coulter, I do care about the other side of the world. And I'll tell you why. I think this is as America first as it gets, supporting the people of Iran because of China. I understand the Monroe Doctrine and the Monroe Doctrine. But if Venezuela falls, which is looking very likely, obviously, and if Iran falls, that helps America in monumental ways and destroys China. Because where do they get their oil? Venezuela and Iran. So these are moves that on the surface, I get it. Listen, no more foreign wars. We want to be some sort of isolationist, maybe be a little more pragmatic. But if these moves help bring down China, that would only help America. Last point is this. There's this whole thing of, remember when Dave Smith, the famous comedian, hilarious, just, worldwide comedian, said, Iran is not a threat. Iran is not a threat. Do you remember that tweet, Rob? Do you have that? Well, here's some evidence as to why, I sent it to you in a text, of why Iran is actually a threat. And we do need to pay attention to the country that has coined the phrase, death to America. Do you have that tweet, Rob, that I sent it to you? So they tried to kill Trump. They tried to kill Secretary Pompeo. They tried to kill John Bolton. Not the worst thing, not condoning.
By the way, everybody's texting that Twitter is down. Just so you know, that's why he can't pull it out. Yeah, right now Twitter is down.
There's evidence. And what did they just say about Trump? Next time we won't miss.
They'll miss.
Did he not say that?
Yeah.
But the point is they're threatening our president. And excuse me, we're one earlobe away from Kamala Harris or weekend at Biden's being president. So these geopolitical conversations do have ramifications. And when someone who presents himself as the smartest person in the room said something like this, you tend to, maybe this guy's got some credibility. And then what happens is our old friend Dave Smith runs into someone infinitely smarter than him named Coleman Hughes. And all of a sudden, Dave's back to being a struggling comedian, not so much a pundit.
Yeah. So by the way, if you want to go back to... is it showing Twitter's down, Rob?
Yes.
Reports are showing that Twitter's down. Can you show that again, the report you had up?
Yes, hang on one second.
Which one is that?
This is
It's
horrifying.
down detector, and it just spiked that. Right there it is.
Yeah, so it is down.
Whoa.
Okay, reports are coming in, but it's saying it's not fully down. The services appear to be up and running, but as of right now, it's still down. Anyways, go back to the Kalshi part. Go back to the Kalshi part, Rob. You just had it. Ali Khamenei out as supreme leader. A week ago, 75%. Today, down to pretty much, 25, depending on by when, September 1st, July 1st, April 1st, 2026, down. Then if you go to Mohammed Reza Pahlavi, because, this had to be up. Will the United States recognize Reza Pahlavi as the leader of Iran? A week ago, 90%.
90% yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Today,
January
28%.
Stop it.
Yes.
Sir, may I understand this?
Yeah.
A week ago was 90%
I'm
chance?
showing you what Kalshi says. 97.6% chance was January 8th.
Today is the
Today is
15th?
16th.
So 1 week ago.
1 week ago, he went from 98% to 28%.
So he's the Pierre Poilievre
He is
of Iran.
He is
Canada.
the Pierre Poilievre of Iran.
Why
And by
is
the way,
it-
the last 3 days, Adam, he spent time with our leaders in Washington.
So can I ask you a very
Did you hear what Tom just said?
100%.
What did Tom
He
just
said
say?
that they spent time with our leaders in Washington.
And what does that mean, though?
That means the more and more that people have been around him, they recognize he ain't that dude.
That's what Tom is trying to
Bingo.
say. Yeah,
I get Tom
ahead.
Kornacki.
Go ahead, Adam.
Why do you think that is, Pat? Sincerely. The more you spend time around
Let me
him.
ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a
Fell
question.
before that.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, though. Here's the question. Let's just say, do you think for Iran to go through their revolution. A country that any day anybody complains about the Second Amendment. If Iran had Second Amendment, none of this stuff is happening right now, by the way. If Iran had Second Amendment. If the Iranian people could defend themselves, you think the cops going out there with a shotgun shooting people free? No. Like, you realize in America, if something like that, you know who'll be the first one coming out? Mongols, Hells Angels, biker gangs. They're going to come out. So what are you doing? Do you remember that one time? I think the George Floyd, if I'm not mistaken, riots was going on, and they decided to go to Huntington Beach, if I'm not mistaken, in LA.
That is correct.
The biker gangs rolled up and said, come on, come through us. And they're like, change your plans. We're leaving this place. We're going to go to different places. Second Amendment in America, phenomenal. Every single day you should be thankful the fact that we have that in America. Was this it, Rob, when they were trying to do it?
Yep.
Protests when all of a sudden like, no, you're not going to come through here. Forget about the cops. The biker folks showed up and are like, yeah, we'll skip today's deal of doing anything with these guys. So, but let me go back to this. To have a revolution happen in a country like Iran against a regime like IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard, in a society where it's like the supreme leader, the phrase they use, their supreme leader, their supreme. American journalists say their supreme leader, his name is Khamenei. It's not your supreme leader is somebody else. That's their supreme leader, right? Khamenei. What do you think you're going to need to do if you're in America as an outsider? Actually, say you are part of Trump's advisors, and somebody brings a guy in who's sitting right in front of us right now, interviewing to be the leader of Iran to help go through the transition. What 5 questions do you have for him if you want to support him?
Are you moving to Iran?
Are you willing to move to Iran?
So let's just say that's one. And he says, of course, but he's been here for 48 years.
Are you willing to put your life on the line and die for this cause?
Oh, is that really the real question?
No.
I don't think that's the real question.
What percentage of people support you?
Say that again.
What percentage of people support you?
What percentage? He says to you.
Of the population, not of Beverly Hills.
He says to you 80% in Iran.
I don't believe
we run the numbers?
Okay, so you don't believe it. What's your next question?
Do you think Iran wants a monarchy or a democracy?
Let's let the people decide, because that's the answer he's given to everybody. That's not our business. That's the people's business.
Well,
that's what he's saying.
Is he gonna, like, if I was them, I'd want leverage and be like, hey, listen, you're going to listen to what we say.
But what other questions do you have? Like, what is the most important question that you have?
What makes you a great leader?
Okay, so let me say before he walked in, we're sitting together here, and here's what we're saying. We made a decision, hey, guys, if we like this guy, at what level do we want to intervene? Okay? You're J.D. Vance. You say, listen, no more than what we did with Venezuela. I don't want troops on the ground staying there, Iraq, 20 years, $3 trillion. Marco Rubio says, well, it depends on what we're going to get in return. Okay? Because let's just say Marco Rubio's a little bit more of a neocon, and he's open to the idea, and he's having a conversation. But let's just say the 5 of us, that's an odd number, which is good, 3 people are going to say, and then, okay. We say, look, if it's a little bit of intervention, I'm open to it. But full on, I want to interview this guy to see if we can get the job done with little bit of intervention, or do we need to do everything for him? So if that's the mindset that we're going in with, what's the most important question to ask? Whose support does he need? Whose support does he need? Not just the people. Who else's support do you need?
The military.
The military. The military.
Right.
So I'm going to ask you and say, okay, how many people from the military are flipping and supporting you? Show me. How many of them? So you know what I would do? If you're running, like if you really, really, really want to do something, why don't we see how many Iranian military have turned and become supporter you? And by the way, you know how it starts? By pockets. You get Tabriz. You get, Abadan. You get smaller to you don't go straight to Tehran. You start from the outside and you come fully inside, because there are a lot of people that are on the verge, but they don't want to be the first. You ever seen that one TED Talks where the guy shows and says, here's the guy that just goes out and he starts dancing like this, and it's the most embarrassing dance. Have you seen this video? You ever seen this video or no? Where the guy's just dancing like a horrible dancing, and everyone's looking at him. But he goes for 5 seconds, and they're thinking he's going to stop. He goes for 20 seconds, and they're thinking he's going to stop. 30 seconds later, another guy goes in, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just kind of going like this. He says 20 seconds after the second guy, couple 100 people are dancing with him. And he says the most important person is the first true believer in you that is willing to step up. Who has stood up from the military unit and said, we're all with Reza Pahlavi? Who? Nobody. That's the question I'm going to be asking, Tom. I'm going to ask the question, has the military from Iran flipped to support this man? What else would you ask them? Because I think that's really how this works. You know, yesterday, 2 days ago, we're interviewing a guy that wants to be the general manager of David Consulting. And we have some finalists, but he's the final guy. He interviews with Tom, Paul, he interviews with Casey, a couple other people he interviews with. Then he comes with me and RJ, and then we go to dinner with them to introduce him to the BDC guys. BDC guys are interviewing with them. What do you think we're asking afterwards? What questions are you asking?
How do you guys feel? Do you believe who he says he is? Is he qualified for the job? Do you think he's going to be long-term? There's a bunch of stuff I would be asking.
So to me, if this all of a sudden happened to the Iranian people who are saying Trump is Jimmy Carter 2.0, maybe instead of saying, is Trump Jimmy Carter 2.0, Jimmy Carter's case was there was already a stable guy in Iran named Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi that had figured everything out. This was a guy that was not afraid of calling people out. He stood his ground. He gave his opinion. In this scenario, this is not the same case as Jimmy Carter 2.0 because Iran doesn't have a leader. During Carter, there was a definite leader called Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. Right now, there's not a definite leader. If there was, they would have easily said yes. So I said this a week ago. God forbid you call out anything with Reza Pahlavi's community. I have no idea. By the way, for a guy who's a massive fan of Reza Pahlavi, okay, the family, for a guy that collects everything I can get my hands, if you want to give me a nice gift, get me an old coin, gold of Reza Pahlavi. Get me old magazines of Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. I have all those collections in my safe in different places that I hold on to. But God forbid you say something and criticize him even just a little bit. They shiver. Yep. How dare you? Reza Pahlavi to them is not a candidate. To them, it's their Jesus.
Yes.
It's their Jesus. It's their prophet Muhammad. God forbid you criticize and say anything about him. Now, by the way, the one thing on the opposite side, so to me, I said this last week about Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi. I said, if you don't pull it off, you're done. I said this a week ago. And the community lost their shit and they came, who the hell do you think you are? All this other stuff. Week later, here's where you are. So guess what? Does it mean it's done? It's very close to being done. Very close to being done. Why? Because somebody couldn't close the deal. Guess what? Diplomacy. You know what? Well, no, it's Elon Musk's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's your fault. No, it's called be a flippin' diplomat. It's called go build those relationships. It's called sit back down and realize how terrible you are. I'll build them relationships with individuals and then go. I have to talk to those people. You know who Trump called 2 days ago? About the 10% credit card interest rate. She was shell-shocked.
Elizabeth Warren. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Elizabeth Warren's being interviewed.
Pick up the phone.
Elizabeth Warren's being interviewed, and they're saying, did Trump really call you?
Yeah.
Yes. How did you feel about it? I'm not going to lie. I was very surprised that he called me and asked me, what do you think about the 10%? What is that called? That's called diplomacy. So, you know, I hope you guys hold him accountable because he does play a very important role. And to Reza Pahlavi's credit, he did an interview yesterday, which, by the way, it's the best one he's done. I'm trying to see who it was with. I watched it. He did a phenomenal job with this interview. I liked his resolve. I liked how he handled himself in this interview. I wish I could find it. There's so many of them he's doing right now, but it was probably the best one that he did. And I'm not going to stop challenging him. I'd like to host a podcast with bringing different people from the Iranian side to talk to a bunch of different guys that have different opinions, and we'll be doing that here soon. But look, to the Iranian people, breaks my heart because my only first cousin in the world, and I only have one first cousin. My dad had 2 brothers and a sister. Between the 3, they had 0 kids, and they all lived past their 60s. It's not like they didn't have a chance. So 2 brothers and a sister, 0 kids. So I got no cousins from my dad's side. My mom's side, she only had 1 sibling. Him and I were very close back in the days, Robert. And he has 1 son. I only have 1 first cousin. You know where my 1 first cousin lives? In Iran. That's where he's at. My only first cousin lives in Iran. So we have family there. We have friends there. We have a lot of people there. And I really wanted to see this being able to be pulled off. But unfortunately, this is the more and more this dies down, and it gets quieter and quieter, and the momentum goes away, families have to go take their kids back and go to school and go back to their jobs, and they realize they had the greatest 2-week run. They got so close. Does that mean Trump's not going to do an attack like he did with Qasem Soleimani? No. Does that mean people can get killed? Remember how Israel works. Here's how Israel works. Israel is also, and Trump is also very much of a, let's make a story up. Netanyahu told them that you shouldn't attack and all this other stuff. Oh my God. Netanyahu controls Trump. 3 days later, boom, 7 leaders in Iran get killed.
Yeah.
To just also appreciate the president's unpredictability of what he's capable of doing. But number one rule, when that man came into interview with Witkoff, interview with Lindsey Graham, and he's leaving, what set of questions you're asking? Are these guys walking out calling Trump saying, I think he's the guy, let's roll, he's going to get it done, you need to meet with him? That didn't happen. Why not? Because if you would have met with him, what would you have told me, Tom, if you were impressed with a candidate? Say you work for President Trump. Say you met with Reza Pahlavi. Say you were blown away. Say your name is Witkoff. What advice would you give me if I'm Trump?
I think we can support this guy because he can pull the coalition together and he's got the support of the military. He'll need some of our intervention, some of our support, but I think his arms are long enough to pull the coalition together.
If you believed in him, how quickly would you say I should meet with him?
Mr. President, I think we should meet with him immediately now that he's met with all of us and we've got our stuff in order. I think we need to make the plan.
Does that sound logical?
Yes.
And it didn't happen.
Nope.
So why didn't it happen?
And by the way, I'll change the names and listen to this. You know who General Ver is? V-E-R. Very famous man in history. General Ver was the evil general henchman for Ferdinand Marcos. And General Ver pledged that he would support Marcos. So that's when the CIA said, okay, Marcos is our guy. Because for 20 years, General Ver supported Marcos in the Philippines. And that's what kept the peace in the Philippines. And the only reason that we selected Ferdinand Marcos, the CIA, was because he had the support of General Ver. So this has happened before in history where the U.S. makes sure that leader can carry the coalition. And that's exactly what we have here, and he can't.
Final thoughts.
I just want to thank you for your breakdown because it helped me come to this conclusion. Reza Pahlavi is the opposite of Donald Trump. Let me explain. You talk about being battle-tested. We have one woman on this panel today who predicted in 2015 Donald Trump would be the president of the United States. But she did that when it was inconvenient and he was 1% chance. But what did Trump do? Get up on that stage and debate how many people?
Everybody.
20 different people. Boom, Jeb Bush. Boom, Marco Rubio. Boom, boom, Scott Walker. Bing, bing, bing. And he won it. Because in America, we've been so focused on DEI, we still don't forget this is still a meritocracy. And Trump showed up and said, I'm that dude. And he took out Hillary Clinton. The final point is here, just because your father was great doesn't mean that you're going to be great. Is Michael Jordan's son in the NBA? No. Is Magic Johnson's son in the NBA? No, he's wearing a dress somewhere, okay? Did Bill Clinton's wife become president? No. Is Barack Obama's wife becoming president? No. So there's a meritocracy is what America's founded on. This monarchy, Iran, if that's what you're looking for, but in America, that's not what we believe in.
Yeah. If you have any thoughts, I'll give it to you. If not, we'll go to the next story.
Let's go to the next story.
Okay.
She's dying to talk more about Iran.
All right. Sounds good. Fair enough. Vinny's got something special he wants to share with you guys. And when Vinny does this, it's a very, very special moment. So, Vinny, tell us what you've been working on.
Thank you, Pat. So, as you guys know, I have the Faith Over Fear line, and this shirt that I'm wearing right now is our newest. Faith Over Fear was more of how you live. This shirt is on how you stand. So, in Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8, Isaiah has a vision of God in his throne, and he's asking, he wants somebody to step up to go to Israel to, call people to God. They're resisting, they're rejecting him. And God says, whom shall I send and who will go for us? And Isaiah, knowing the cost, just answers quick. He goes, here am I, send me. And there's actually a moment, Pat, in the movie Fury. Do you guys remember Shia LaBeouf? Yep. His name is Bible in the movie. John Bernthal, Brad Pitt. They're in this tank division. The tank has been destroyed. Okay, they know that they're all gonna die. They can run, they could leave, but they choose to stay there and delay the enemy from advancing. And Shia LaBeouf has that moment where he goes, "This is a righteous act, gentlemen," and he quotes the verse from Isaiah. He goes, "Here am I, send me." So it's about answering the call even when it costs everything. So that's what this shirt means today. It's speaking the word when it's unpopular and standing firm regardless of the consequences. And so the front of the shirt is Isaiah 6:8. Valuetainment is here, and that's the back of the shirt right there. Here am I, send me. It's live right now on vtmerch.com. Get you guys a shirt, and yeah, that's
I'm
it.
proud of you, buddy.
By the
Thank
way,
you.
last
Here am I.
time,
Step
I'm
up.
proud of you for reading the Torah.
You're welcome.
yeah, last time he did this, 10,000 Faith Over Fear shirts were picked up. So go pick yourself up a shirt and represent. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.